Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about Helldivers 2 and the fact that the game itself is pretty much donezo. Now, we're going to go talk about this because the community itself is very upset with the developers. They're upset about the game, and they're basically letting the game just end. Now, if you guys don't know, Helldivers is kind of like a simulation Dungeons and Dragons experience somewhat, where they basically have some higher ups kind of in control of like these enemy mobs are going to go and move here on their next position. They're going to try to go here, and the end of the goal is basically try to go protect Super Earth, which is like, you know, the main core spot. So you kind of have like some enemies going in one direction, some enemies going on the other, and the whole point of the game is kind of to encourage you to fight them off, encourage you to kind of be a part of this like big war, and it's like an ongoing, everlasting thing. And as of right this second, people are upset. They think the game sucks. They're nerfing everything, and the community itself is revolting, basically letting the whole entire game end, which is crazy to go think about. So let's go and talk about it. And of course, let me know your thoughts and comments on all this down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. We have all the Target sponsored links down below for the summer holidays, so check them out. And of course, I just appreciate you guys so much for watching. So as you guys have probably seen, there's been a lot of drama when it comes to Helldivers. And I mean, the player base is still pretty strong. So if you go and say the game is dying or dead, it's more of like the community itself is intentionally letting it happen as a show of kind of strong faith of them being like, we don't care if your game ends, listen to us or the game will actually end. Like, we will actually stop playing this game. If you guys kind of look at the concurrent view, like player base before the big update that happened a few days ago, they was getting down to like 26,000 players, which is still, all things considered, not bad. Like, for a game, I don't want to be too much of a hater, but if you compare it to the peak of 450,000, yeah, that's a little bit lower. You guys can kind of see the trend just kept on going lower and lower and lower, and obviously the less people, less memes, less filled planets, longer to take things, not as fun, blah blah blah. It did have a recent resurgence up here with a brand new update, but even then with that, people are now getting upset with the update. And the big reason why is they're nerfing everything that's fun. And it's just the game itself is becoming dull, and people are critiquing the game, basically stating that PvE is not meant to be so micromanaged compared to like a PvP game. Now, if you guys kind of go through the actual Helldivers reviews and like comments and everything on the Reddit community, which shout out to them, these guys were fantastic on memes at the start, and I do kind of feel like a lot of people are understanding of how important a community is. The community is the game. The community does the marketing. The community does everything, and that's what makes the game fun. If your community dies out and leaves because they're not being listened to, it's very hard to get these users back. And as well, it kind of leaves a really bad taste in their mouth, mainly because the most recent Steam reviews are very, very negative. And I'd probably say, and I agree with everyone in the community, they're right. They're right, and this is all because they're making a PvE game less fun. I think the devs want the game to have like a challenge to it, like you're trying to launch in the game and it's just an absolute chaotic like equivalent of like literal alien bugs trying to go take over the planet, and we're trying to push them back, and like that's fun. The idea is fun. But what's also fun is playing video games with massive mech suits and flamethrowers that actually do damage and like dropping bombs on things, because it's a fun experience. And that's what we want. I don't mind if it's hard. I don't mind if my character dies. I don't mind if it's challenging and I get frustrated and overwhelmed, because that's part of the fun. But I also don't want to feel like I'm a random ant going against a human and I just get stepped on, because at that point it's not fun. I don't mind having to go and be against like a big, strong, burly dude, but I got like these crazy weapons behind me, because then I have a fighting chance. Like there's a disparity between the two, and people are not happy. And I would agree. So one big case in point is they completely nerfed the flamethrower. I liked the flamethrower. And they also never buffed up other weapons to make things on par. A lot of PvP games would make sense. Let's say you're playing a PvP game like a Destiny or whatever, and 90% of the player base is using a certain shotgun. At that point, guess what? You should probably nerf it, because you don't have like game variety. It's not fun. I play a lot of League of Legends. Let's say everyone's playing one character because you're pretty much guaranteed to win. The devs have to nerf it. It's not fun. And I can understand that in PvE. If like 90% of people are using one specific weapon because it's just, you just destroy and disseminate everyone, sure, I understand that. But there's issues where if you nerf it, you also need to go and buff up other options, because if everyone was using a certain option for a reason, that means all the other things were underperforming. So I'm one of those more mindsets, and I think a lot of other Helldivers people are too. You want to buff every weapon. You want to make things stronger. You want to make everything equally fun as in zany, because if you add like a level 11 threat and like you keep on making it higher, you need things to compete with that to make the game seem fresh and fun. And people just don't care about that, you know? Like, some people are like excited about this one, like people are still memeing around, but they're like, hey man, they just never buffed underwhelming guns. And I agree. Like, if everything is pretty fun, that's fine. Like, if you think something's overtuned, that's okay. But you have to, if you're basically making everything having to go down, it doesn't make the game experience fun. If you bring some other things up, it may have a chance to replace that same experience that other weapons had, which can make the people check out different builds and different weapons and makes the game fun. But if you just kind of go look through the subreddit too, dude, like, people are just mad. Like, even the devs are like, hey man, not speaking on the studio, but I did like the older stuff's better. And I agree. Like, I saw this updates and I agree. And I've been longing and waiting for that opportunity for me to come back to Helldivers, to have an excuse to play, to bring my friends back too who may have moved off. And it's kind of hard too, because it's like, hey, like, look at this. They're acknowledging that people love things in the game, and then they get rid of it. like sometimes it's okay to have bugs. Like, I think some people like the devs are focusing more on like, this is like how we want the game to play. Bro, that's the magic of like D&D. You can guide players on how you want to go and play the game. You can then suggest. You can even try to go and use your own trickery to be like, this is what I think the right strat is. But if the community doesn't agree and they want to go on their own spin-off and they want to go on their own side adventures and try to go and somewhat change the dialogue and the story and how they play the games and what weapons they use, if you want to be a good DM, which using pure D&D talk, you gotta allow it. You have to have a little bit of wiggle room. You have to listen to the people playing, because maybe the devs will get this metaphor, because this is what it has to click in your heads and your game will keep being successful. Please listen. And please, if you tell me if you guys agree, let me know. You need to focus on fun. I understand that there is importance to it. You need to have a little bit of structure, but you need to be loose. You need to be fun. You need to be free. This community is filled with people who like to meme and just do random silly things and put on crazy 90s rock as you're dropping on in, dude, and being like, oh, why the hell, as you're just blowing up bugs. That's the fun of it. And I understand that there's ideas and concepts. If you kind of go through some of the memes and you kind of see some stuff, there's people like posting random stuff. Like, I mean, it's even on the subreddit too, I forgot. But as I was scrolling through, it's like this. Like, you start off being like a badass, like you feel cool. And then now it's just everything's getting nerfed, everything's kind of lame, and less people are playing the game because it's not as fun and chaotic. So what's the actual point? I don't want to be going against a random horde of huge bugs with a pistol, because everything else is just mediocre at best. Like, I want to be able to go walk up there and hold my own. I want to feel like a superhero saving the entire planet. And they're just not allowing that fantasy to go and happen. And they're trying too hard to think of it their own way, which is why they're nerfing so much stuff. It's not a PvP game. This is a PvE game. This is the community wants to feel cool. They get off of work after working a long day and they want to feel like a hero doing something and destroying planets and going for the cause. And the biggest issue, as I mentioned too, is that they are right now basically letting the game just end. So in the whole format of D&D, as I was speaking on throughout the video, they themselves are just being like, hey, if bots want to go and destroy the planet, who cares? Who cares? It's not our problem. I'm not having fun. A lot of people are thinking the bots are unfun too as well, because it's not fun to play against. So as a video game, this is not a job. All like RPing and memes aside, this is not a job. It's not my responsibility. If it's not fun, I'm not going to go and try to fight the bots. If the weapons I'm using got nerfs too much or it's hard, I don't care. I don't care. And that's what a lot of people are saying. I don't care. And that's where a game will usually end and start dying out. Because if you go and make all the things that were fun unfun, and you have to go be that random DM, that guy being like, my way or the highway, you can't go on side adventures, and well, you're supposed to be in the dungeon trying to fight like Magnificioso, the evil demon, when everyone else is having fun, having drinks on the side, being like, hey, let's go to a brothel and let's go tell fun stories because we're taking a break from our adventure, because you're just with your friends and having fun. No one likes the one guy that's like, you guys are not allowed to have drinks, and we're supposed to be, if we're not fighting this guy by the end of the day, my plans are ruined. Why would you not do this? Like, follow the script. It's like, you don't have to have a script to have a fun game. You don't have to have a script to go let people have fun and blow up bugs and blow off some steam. And I think that's what the devs are missing. you have to take a step back and listen to the community, because if you don't, the game will actually die. It's dying, but that's just how games usually work. You know, they get the hype cycle and people move on. That's okay. You just have a lot of people playing the game and enjoying the game, and it's not dumb. It's a fun game. But make the game funner, and people will be more likely to want to return, because they even mentioned before, saying that some of these comments seem like they got overlooked. They even mentioned comments on 2 as well. They're saying, hey, there's cool updates that people aren't getting talked about because people are upset the game is not turning out fun. So listen to the community and stop being a little whiny, like, and fix your game, or else it's gonna die. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. We have the Twitter and Twitch room as well. Check out the Target links for all of our sponsors in case you guys care. And I appreciate you all very much for watching in the first place. And, well, I was gonna try to go with like one of those dramatic movie sign-offs, like, keep on fighting, space robots, space cowboys, but whatever, I'm lame, I can't do it. Bye.